Alright, guys, as 2025 is coming to an end, we're starting to see space stocks pick up steam. SpaceX just announced that they're going to IPO in 2026 at a $1.5 trillion valuation, which is pretty ridiculous. And we'll definitely see Rocket Lab pick up some percentage of that 1.5 trillion. Currently, they're sitting around a 38 billion market cap, which is around 3% of SpaceX. So I think just from a runway perspective, they have a lot of room for growth. And one of the biggest drivers for national spending on space is for defense, obviously. So there's about 150 billion in the big beautiful bill that was signed earlier this year, and Rocket Lab is going to retrieve some portion of that. And reason being is the United States doesn't want an over reliance on SpaceX. So distributed reliance will decrease risk over time by having Rocket Lab, specifically for the Golden Dome, which is a missile shield around the country. And Rocket Lab, as we'll get into, specializes in making a lot of those systems. Yeah, and recently Rocket Lab just won a contract with some of the big defense primes like Lockheed and Northrop. They got a $515 million deal, which is the backbone, where they're building a transport layer where they have these high-speed laser-linked satellites that can perform inter-satellite communication, so it could reach pretty much any ground station on Earth. And this is similar to Starlink, um, but basically using Rocket Lab's technology. And they also got a contract for $816 million for detecting hypersonic missiles using their in-house made infrared sensors. And the cool thing about Rocket Lab is they're an end-to-end space company, and this is one of the main points I'd like to drive is they fully create their systems from component level through launch into space, which is very rare, and it's similar to SpaceX in that regard. So the technical term for this is vertical integration. So 70% of their revenue was from space systems, which is their space grade components, computers, infrastructure, and not their launches. So typically, when you think of Rocket Lab, you think of a space launch company, but they're actually getting most of their revenue from their space systems. And some of their products include platforms like Lightning and Photon, solar solutions, satellite hardware, and their sensors. So they're extremely diversified in their product portfolio. And of course, don't discount the launching capabilities of Rocket Lab. Like, you could literally go on their site and there's a button to click that says book my launch, and you could put in whatever and book a launch if you wanted to, which is unlike any other company in the world right now, and it just shows that they're capable. And for launching, their number one rocket is the Electron, which is their high frequency rocket. And this year, in 2025, they hit a record of 21 launches, and their launch cadence is increasing as well, which is the rate of launches. And to note, all 21 launches were successful. And another rocket is their HASTE rocket, which is their defense testing rocket, which is essentially a suborbital version of the Electron rocket. So mostly for the DoD that it's used. And the big dog, or their main revenue driver, is going to be the Neutron, which is essentially a Falcon 9 replacement. And their engine hot fire testing was completed this year, and in Q2 of 2026 we should see a launch. And notably, they have the Hungry Hippo fairing, which is attached to the rocket, and then it essentially just opens up, spits out the second stage, and then closes back up. So it allows for no debris and allows for fast turnaround times, since you don't have to recover the second stage in the ocean, and it just basically trashes it in space and just goes bye bye. So it just simplifies things from a financial perspective and from an engineering perspective as well. And Rocket Lab is on ramp for NSSL Phase 3 Lane 1, which is a $5.6 billion prize for national security. And they would be working alongside SpaceX for this $5.6 billion pool, which just shows the order of magnitude Neutron has over Electron, which is in around tens of millions of dollars per launch. So the main revenue driver will be Neutron. So this video is just a brief synopsis of what to expect for RKLB in the coming years. I'm 23 years old, so I continue to buy this company on essentially any downturn I can. And it would be a good idea for others who are young to maybe consider allocating some portion of their portfolio to this. And another point is Sir Peter Beck. He's an absolute monster. If you look at podcasts or interviews with this guy, you could tell he's driven alongside some of the greatest engineers and with their mentalities, and that just further increases confidence in the capability for this company to grow.